Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. If I haven't talked to you so far, I hope the New Year is treating you well. This is Roger Salam, Winner Circle, and today's guest, I have my partners in the joint venture for the Bank REO project, and I have Kent Davis and Garland Davis on the call. Both of you, I hear a little bit of background noise on the back, so if you can be in a place, we can. I'm recording this, so we can also students who are missing it can listen to it later as well. So the purpose of this call this morning is to give you an overview one more time what's happening with this project and the logistics and how you can win the bid. So with that, let me start. First of all, Kent, Garland, are you guys on?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. This is Garland.
Great. And I've got Mark. Are you on? Mark Caruska? All right. And and Ken Williams?
Yes, I'm on.
Great. So wonderful. So I've got Ken Williams from my office, and Mark Caruska will join us also as a panelist, and I will ask them some questions. And those of you, let me look at, I see some still more people joining us. And first of all, I still had a few questions, people. When I presented this program, and one of the things that I emphasized, and it was my mistake that I did not emphasize, this is not an exclusive list. Let me repeat, this is not an exclusive list. This is an exclusive opportunity to bid on these properties through us. So if you go look for these properties onto the internet, you can find them, perhaps some of them in Zillow or MLS or Hubzu or any of the other places, and then you come to me and say that, hey, this is not an exclusive list. First of all, I didn't say it's an exclusive list. It's an exclusive opportunity, not an exclusive list. However, by default, it'll make it an exclusive list from that perspective, because if you see a property listed in MLS for X dollars, or if you go to Hubzu, you'll see that that's listed as their starting bid price. What we're doing, and if you were to bid or make an offer through MLS, through the realtor it's listed with, or through Hubzu, or any of the other places, there is a contact. If you could find a contact to place a bid, that's where you start. So if it's listed for $50,000, and then of course you can make an offer, and most of the time that's their starting bid price. So it goes up from there. And for us, what we're doing is we're taking that price and we're making a 40 to 60% below that starting bid price. And that's what the incredible opportunity that we are presenting here is. And the reason that is because every month our group, the bank, in this case Auckland, we don't have any control over what property they give us. So they've been trying to sell these properties, these 1,000, 2,000 properties on their own for the longest time. But for whatever reason, they decide, okay, we want to liquidate these 2,000 properties, this 1,000 properties, and we have a group that buys from us every month, whatever we give them. So they take randomly, or they have a process method to their madness. They pick these 2,000 properties and send us on the first, typically. And we, whether you buy it or not, we have to bid on every one of them. And it's not an absolute bid. The bank doesn't have to accept, but if they accept what we offer, then we have to come up with the money for all 2,000 properties. And so you think about it, we have to bid on every property. And that's the thing over here. We're collectively buying those 1,000, 2,000 properties at the end of every month. And I'll have Kent and Garland address the issues of the logistic in the process, but I'm giving the overview. And what we have been able to do, and with their blessings, is we have created a private bidding platform. And this is where my students come in. It's through my joint venture with them. Is now my students can participate exclusively on this bidding process, that they can now take those properties and bid at 40 to 60% below what their starting price is. So when we send you on that Excel a list price, that is really a starting bid price in most cases. So 40 to 60% below that, and that is what's creating the opportunity. And if you're not, I don't have too many rules around this, but if I find one thing is that if somebody is taking this list from any of my students and broadcasting the whole list or placing the whole list on the internet or anywhere Craigslist, then that would be a good reason for me to no longer offer that person. And by the way, it's not like I'm threatening you. It's just you and I don't, our philosophies don't agree. This is the one rule that I have. You cannot take this list and just broadcast it and post it anywhere. And this is exclusively for my students. However, what you can do is if you can find a joint venture partner in Tennessee, you live in Tampa, and somebody responds to you that you have some properties in Tennessee that you saw this month, then you can joint venture with them, and you need to send them properties. You just take the Tennessee properties and you send it to them. And because you're trying to do joint ventures with that person, because you now have an exclusive opportunity through us, that person in Tennessee, I don't know. So all the offers must come through you. So if we don't recognize somebody, then that person will not be able to place their bids. So they cannot buy this property. And it happens to us, you can ask Ken and Garland, that our own properties come back to us. Here's other people marking up all these properties and trying to sell us back our own properties, and then we usually have fun with it. Said, hey, you know what? I want to buy 10. Can you send me? Where do I send money? That's when they stop. Oh, that's when the daisy chain starts back. They can't figure out. And for us, it's very simple. That we have a flat $2,000 buyer's premium, and that's what you're going to be paying off of the list. So there is I don't mark it up. I'm transparent. And this $2,000, if that's not, you think that's too much, then this is not for you. And I make way more money if I'm doing flipping the properties myself on a regular basis. But this is a volume game, and I want to make sure that I'm very fair and pass you, more importantly, a deal that you will make money. And so with that being said, I just want to give you an overview of where is the opportunity. And secondly, we sell these properties as is, where is, how is. However the bank gives us is how we give it to you. There are no closing costs or anything else. There's a small admin fee to just send it to you, and processing and handling fee on this if you win the bid. And that's it. We get it as a quitclaim deed. We give it to you as a quitclaim deed. And then it's your responsibility to convert it to a warranty deed if you want. And there are some people say, oh, you didn't tell me that these are quitclaim deeds. Quitclaim deed has no value. Listen, we have no problem selling all of these thousands of properties every single month. If this is not your game, then don't play this game. If it's risky for you, don't play this game. But we've been doing this. Kent has been doing this for years now, and this is where the opportunity is. Wherever there is a problem, that's the opportunity. So we created this opportunity for you, for my students, so that you're guaranteed now every month you'll have this opportunity. And this is one of the angles of doing it. And there are other ways to buy houses and make money. And I will continually bring you more ways to make money. So this particular one, and as you know, in the lower end of the spectrum of properties, and we have, besides this, we have the CFD program, which is contract for deed, where we owner finance you the properties. That's a separate call, but right now we're going to focus on this month and this bidding process, how we do it and how you can win and what the historical data is. And this is where Kent will help us, and Garland will help us with the process. So, and at the end, we're going to also reinforce the process, the wiring fee, and all of those. We're going to give you some good news coming up in the future. Future means not like long next month. So with that being said, Kent, please, if I said anything that is incorrect or even needs further explanation, first of all, add to those, both Garland and Kent, what I've just said so far. Am I correct in what I've said?
That was excellent. Awesome job.
Thank you.
And I love to just underline the fact that the opportunity really is a proven one by just going in and simply even focusing on bringing that title back to a fully marketable, insurable title will bring you a value in your resale just in that one factor alone. So don't let the world out there scare you away from where the opportunity is, because it really lies here in this area.
And by the way, guys, we sell to wholesalers. And so our wholesalers are buying these properties and then wholesaling to the rehab investors. So you can buy, these are 40 to 60% below the starting bid price. So the goal here is not to get greedy. This is not a round robin auction. You only get one shot. So you better put the price. If there's a property that you want, then you better bid it so that no one else can outbid you, and you will get that one chance. And then don't be greedy. Sell it. Make, just like all I'm doing is $2,000. You have no idea that $2,000 is gross, and there's other people that has to have I have to pay them on these things. So there's not much money in it that I'm doing this. But it's a volume game, so you get in and take the property that if you really want it, and that's what we're going to talk about that. So, Ken, would you please address that issue in terms of what's a winning bid strategy? What should we look for? Kent?
Well, yes, and thank you again for the opportunity to be on the webinar this morning with all of the students. Hope you had a great holiday, and Happy New Year to you. Well, it's pretty straightforward and basic, as you've described. One of the things that we want to assist each and every one of you on now is how to get your bids up to where they will be an acceptable bid, because obviously this is a lot of effort. We want to have the payoff of winning bids, and so I'm sorry. If you're not actually speaking, you should probably mute your phone. Okay, so I'm going to let Garland really address specifically how to what to take into account when you actually place your bid. So probably.
Go ahead.
Did we lose you?
No, we're here.
Okay. So Garland, if you wouldn't mind, I think it'd be better if you just go through the process of where and how that they can establish their bids.
Okay. I'd be happy to. Basically, we get a lot of questions about what is a winning bid, where do we have to be. I know there are several students out there who have bid on a monthly basis, some with success, and successful bids accepted by the bank. Some of you have not had any bids accepted. And so obviously this is the starting point. Where do I need to be in terms of the list price and my bid? The two numbers that I can really give you as kind of starting points are percentages based on the list price. So I believe Roger has here the list for January of all of the properties, and you'll see in column J, am I correct? Can everyone else see this?
Yes, they can see that. That's why I put it up.
So, okay, so in column J, you'll see a list price. This is what the bank has listed that property for, and it's, in a lot of cases, it's what the starting bid is on some of the websites that you may find these properties on. Now, that does not mean that we have to be at the list price, or you have to be at the list price to actually win, or have a shot at winning these properties. So if the list price is above $20,000 and less than $30,000, so if the list price is between $20,000 and $30,000, we find that most winning bids are at least 60% of the list price. Okay, so if you have a list price of $30,000, then you're going to want to be 60% of that to have a decent shot at winning that property. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule. We've seen bidders win properties for less than that. We've seen bidders go much higher than that, and obviously the higher you go in relation to the list price, the better opportunity you have at winning. Now, one thing I want to make sure everyone is clear on, and I think this is common sense, but it's worth stating regardless, is just because you have to bid 60% of the list price to have a good shot at winning the property does not mean it is a good deal. Okay, and there's several factors that you have to consider. The banks are, not always on site. A lot of times they're establishing a list price based on what they have into it, or fiscal responsibilities that they have, or there's a process. A lot of that doesn't make sense to us. So just because the list price is, at least on line 2, is $48,800, doesn't necessarily mean that 60% of the price is a good deal. So please be careful. Do your due diligence. Research the back taxes, any that might be associated with it. Visit the property. Do a good estimate on repairs, the market, what it can bear, what it can handle, and make an educated bid. But we're finding that most bids to win are going to need to be in that range if the list price is between $20,000 and $30,000. If the list price is above $30,000, then that ratio, that percentage, is going to jump up to 65 to 70% of list price. We find that the best deals in terms of cents to the dollar on list price are on the lower list price homes. So anything that's under $20,000, we're seeing people win, as low as 30% to list price, 40% to list price, and in that range. So that just gives you kind of an idea. Now there are obviously exceptions to the rule. This is just an average based on thousands of bids every month and what's winning and what's not. So please keep that in mind. It doesn't guarantee a win at 60 cents on the dollar or a loss. It's just kind of a jumping point, a starting point, so that at least that you have a better shot at winning instead of coming in super low and not having a shot. And then in that case, you're tying up your capital. You're paying fees to the title company to escrow your deposit, and we want to make sure that you have the best shot at being successful as possible. So that's kind of the general starting point there.
Garland, can you also just now give us the procedure for what they need to do if somebody's interested in placing a bid?
Okay. Yes. So the first, the bid process, at least from your perspective, starts with the list that Roger has on the screen right now. Obviously, go through the list, find the properties that you want. Please keep in mind that once you submit an offer, that is final. Your bid sale agreement will be based on that. Your deposit will be based on that. Once they're submitted and the deposit is in, there's no changing your bid. There's, we don't typically allow adding bids or taking away once that's settled in. And please, that's more for our convenience than anything else. As you can imagine, we have dozens of bid sheets coming in, and we want to make sure that we're submitting the correct bids on your behalf, and the process isn't always conducive to It's just easy to make errors, and so we want to prevent that for all parties involved. So it's just a one opportunity to submit your bids all at once, and no changes after that. So you will place your bid in the column K of the bid sheet. Now you'll notice in the sheets that you've received from Roger, there are multiple tabs and different sheets at the bottom of the spreadsheet. Please make sure that your bids are submitted on the master bid sheet. If they are not there, they will not be submitted, because otherwise, there's just no opportunity to go through each individual tab, scrolling and looking for bids. So please make sure, regardless of what you do with the other tabs, that every one of your bids is in column A of the master bid sheet on this Excel spreadsheet. Please make sure that you do not reorder the sheet, do not edit them, do not make any changes, and just submit your offer, your price, the actual bid that you want to submit to the bank in column K. So that's the first step. Those spreadsheets will be sent back to me at Garland, Garland, at bhphhomes.com. And that's B as in boy, H as in homes, P as in Paul, H as in homes, and then homes.com. So I'll say that one more time. Or Roger, you're typing that out. And you've got that perfect. So that's Garland at bhphhomes.com. So all of your communication in terms of your actual bid, your bid sale agreement will come directly to me, that email address, and then please do also copy Roger on his email as well, so he knows what's going on with his students as well. So you can copy him at support@thewinnercircleinc.com. So your bid sheet, this Excel sheet, you'll want to email back to me. Please include your name or your LLC that is going to be going on the bid sale agreement. This is the name which is going to be going on title if and when you win a property. So please make sure, for consistency's sake, that you have that in line. If you are bidding with, your LLC name is the Winner Circle Inc., please make sure you include that in your email, include your personal name, include the email address that you want the contract to go to, because it's going to be coming via right signature, and you'll sign that electronically. So if it's an email address other than the one you're emailing me from, please include that. Please include your email, your phone number, and your address for either your business or your personal address. So all of that is needed to populate your bid sale agreement. So I'll state that again: your name, your LLC or business name, your bid sheet, your address, your email, your phone number. So once we have all of that, we will create a bid sale agreement and email that to you via right signature. You will sign that electronically. Once you sign that, that bid is legally binding. We will provide you with wire instructions to submit your deposit. Your deposit goes to Leading Edge Title Company. They keep your deposit, which is 50% of your bid total. They will keep that in escrow until the bank notifies us of the award amount. Just to give you kind of an idea for the timeline, we typically receive this list around the 1st or 2nd of the month. We get that to you as quickly as possible. Around the 10th or 11th of each month, depending on the bank's deadline, we require your bids, signed bid sale agreement, and then your deposit prior to us submitting the bids on your behalf to the bank. So, and then also, I know there's been some questions regarding the Leading Edge escrow fee. Currently, there is a $100 fee that Leading Edge charges. Now, we've heard your voice and your recommendations to remove that fee. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do with that this month, but I assure you Roger, Kent, and myself are working hard on some alternatives so that you won't be bound with that $100 fee moving forward, and we hope to have that in place next month. So, and that's all the more reason why you submit a winning bid, or your best shot at winning properties, because you don't want to be paying that $100 fee month in, month out, and not be winning anything or having any fruit as a result. If you do win properties and you're awarded bids, then that fee goes from $100 to $200. And the reason for that is there are extra wires that the title company has to send out. There's extra paperwork, employee and staffing hours that goes into keeping this escrow up to date and managing that. So unfortunately, something that we cannot avoid this month. That fee goes directly to the title company to handle the deposits and everything. And that's for your protection as well as ours and the bank. So hope that you understand that. We appreciate your patience developing as we develop this, these alternatives to save you and everyone money and time. And we hope to unveil that in February. So once the bids are submitted, we typically hear back from the bank regarding our bids around the 20th of the month, but please be patient. Sometimes it's a couple of additional days. It always depends on what day of the week that falls on. Sometimes it's the weekend, and you can understand why it would be pushed back a couple of days as well. But I assure you that as soon as we have answers regarding the bids and what properties, if any, are awarded, then we'll be sure to notify you as quickly as possible. If in the event that you do win properties, you have a deposit, which is 50% in escrow. If that deposit covers the total awarded amount for the properties that you're buying, we will use those funds. The title company will be paid their fee, and then you will be wired the difference if there's a surplus, and that usually takes a couple business days to get back to you. If there is a deficit and your total awarded property purchase price exceeds the balance or your deposit, then you will have 24 hours to fund it, and so you'll also send those extra funds to Leading Edge Title as well. It's really important. Roger, can you pull up the bid sale agreement?
Yes.
So I can walk them through that.
As a matter of fact, Garland, I'm gonna make you the presenter, and so that you'll be able to scroll up and down on your own screen, and they'll be able to. You can highlight what you want them to show. So please accept, and then show close everything else on your computer before, and then now we can see your screen.
Okay, and you see the bid sale agreement right there?
I can see agreement regarding sale of real estate by bid at auction and bidding process procedure.
Okay, great. Oh, that makes it smaller. I'm trying to zoom in here for you guys.
Yes, yeah. Zoom in. Can you zoom in more, please?
Yes.
Good.
Okay. So this is the agreement regarding sale of real estate by bid at auction and bidding procedure. That's a mouthful, but we just typically call it the bid sale agreement, or to even shorten it out further, the BSA. So once we get your bids, we will create an Exhibit B, which goes with this bid sale agreement. That will list all of your bids on one page or multiple pages, however many pages we need to show that, along with your total bid amount. Please make sure you review this. This just gives the timeline for the bidding, when you can expect to hear back from us, various information there. You'll see information on when you can expect your deposit back, what kind of deed you'll be getting, when you can expect a deed from the bank, if you've won a property, some other general provisions here. So please take the time to read that. This is what will be coming back to you via right signature, and you'll be signing and initialing where designated. Exhibit A is the wire instructions for Leading Edge Title. Please, and this is very important, please do not send wires until you have received the agreement, you've executed the agreement, and we have executed the agreement as well. So please hold off. Your deposit will need to be exactly half of your total bid amount. So if you have bid a total of $100,000 on however many properties, your deposit will be $50,000 in total. Please do not send your additional $100 or $200 for the escrow fee with that deposit. If you are owed a refund, then we will, the title company will deduct that from your deposit, whether it's $100 or $200, and then send you the difference if necessary. So please, for consistency's sake, only send the 50% deposit of your total bid amount. If funds are owed at the end of the day because you've won a number of properties exceeding your deposit, then we will request the balance plus the $200 fee as a result of winning properties. So please just, so we can have everything uniform and consistent, only send the 50% deposit. Here are instructions, the account number, the wire number. Here's another important point. You'll see here in red, please reference Kingdom First Properties, LLC, and or sign, and bid agreement signee in remarks. So please make sure that you reference Kingdom First Properties, LLC. As you can imagine, the title company has many, many wires coming in and out on a daily basis, and it presents a nightmare for all parties involved if they cannot identify those wires coming in. Please don't address Hawkwin or bids or anything other than Kingdom First Properties so that we can identify those as part of these bid deposits. The next page, page 6, this is very important because I know in the event that you are owed a refund, I know that you'll be anxious to get your refund back in a timely manner, and this is very, very important. We've had many situations where we've received incorrect return wire info, and it drags out the process, and we want to make sure that, in fairness to you, that we get your deposits back to you in a timely manner within 48 hours, and so it's very important that the correct return wire instructions are submitted with the bid sale agreement. It's very important also that return wire instructions that you give us match the originator, the originating account from which the deposit came back. So if you send a deposit to Leading Edge from the Winner's Circle or AAA Real Estate, that's the name on the account, those wires can only be returned to the same account. And we've faced this on multiple occasions where we've received different wire info, incorrect wire info. That can delay. And the reason for that is if the funds don't go back to the same account from which they were sent, then the federal government considers that money laundering, and I think that's something that we all want to avoid as much as possible. So it's very important. Also, please do not confuse your ABA number with the routing number on your personal check. A lot of, on numerous occasions, bidders have just looked at the routing number on their checks or business checks. That does not always work for wires. So please make sure that you contact your bank, find out what their ABA wire number is, and submit that. Otherwise, you'll have a delay in getting your deposit returned to you. And then, of course, your account number. We just want to make sure that you get all of that. And then finally, Exhibit B is the last page. This will just show all the addresses, the properties that you've bid on, your bid amount, and then underneath that we'll have a total. So please make sure you review that. This is very important. When the exhibit comes back to you, make sure that you double check your bids the properties that you are intending to bid on, and just to make sure that everything is correct and that we're submitting the proper bid. If you initial this and sign it, and somehow we've made an error, then you're on the hook for those bids and those addresses. So obviously, I don't want that on your behalf, so please just double check, triple check, and make sure that the correct bid amounts are being placed on the correct property, so we don't have any mistakes moving forward. I can be error prone, and your assistance is appreciated on that. Finally, let me pull up the bidding protocol just to make sure I've covered everything. We should have already, but we will make the list available on or around the 1st of each month. You typically have 5 business days to submit your bid. Unless otherwise agreed upon, 50% of your total bid will be due in escrow prior to bids being submitted by KFT on your behalf. Please make sure that you do not edit or reorder the Excel sheet in any way. On or around the 21st, we're notified of the winning bid, and then we will notify you within 1 business day of receiving those confirmations. If the winning bid total is less than the escrowed amount, the excess funds will be returned to the client within 2 business days. If the winning bid total is in excess of the 50% in escrow, the balance of the funds must be wired to, that's actually the leading edge, within 24 hours of being notified of winning bids. So if we let you know on Monday that you won, then we need to balance, if there is one due, on Tuesday in leading edge's escrow. Number 7, this is very important, and Roger already addressed this, but we want to make sure that you don't have any surprises. The deed type conveyed will be the same as received from the bank. In 99.9% of the cases, this is a quitclaim deed. So what we receive is what you get. Number 8, escrow agent charges each client $100 for administrative and wire fees in the event that properties are awarded. An additional $100 will be billed by the escrow agent for a total of $200. And then finally, please don't wire the deposit until you have received a fully executed bid sale agreement back from us. I know that's a lot of information, and I thank you for bearing through all of that. Kent, Roger, is there anything that I have missed or that you would like to add to that?
Yes, this is Kent. 2 things to reemphasize. One is we want everyone to understand that those fees are not in our control. And as Roger has spoken earlier about, we hope to have some adjustments made to where we can get around some of this stuff. But these fees are charged by the escrow company and out of our control. And so we apologize for that. Number 2, the time frame in which we've spoken in the past about getting refunds out within 24 hours or 48 hours, that is, again, is not in our control. And we need to soften that statement just in that, especially when it happens around a weekend or as we just went through the holidays, it got a little crazy. Again, totally out of our control, but just want people to be aware when you're dealing with an escrow company, they're not the fastest, but usually up till the holidays, it was happening in a very quick manner. But they were closed more often than they were open in the last probably 2 weeks. So just wanted to add those 2 points just so everyone's kind of prepared that it in a perfect world, in a perfect part of the year, it would probably have happened in a 24-hour, 48-hour turnaround. But holidays and weekends will always interfere with that a little bit. So,
all right. What I'd like to address now is this list that you have seen and what all the other tabs are there and why we did it, and what you this time, because of the short time fee, I sent you the list just the way we got it from the bank, same within hours of when I got it. And because to do this takes hours and hours and hours, so I didn't want to hold you back because of the short fuse. here you go. Some of you are very savvy, and you can, I'm going to mute, and then, all right. So, where was I? So, this particular, why we did this and the enhancement. My goal is always to make it better, bigger, and easier for you, and how we can make the process, not just the winning bid, but the process easier for you as well. And Kent and Garland both mentioned about the fees, and like anything else, what I want you to do is take that into account when you place the bid, as if those $200 is part of your bidding process. You know it's going to cost you, so make sure you take that into account. And number two, next month, hopefully I'll have another procedure in place to make it easier on you. And when I'm ready, I'll announce that. But we're not talking about months from now. Literally, we were hard at work because the holidays. I could not implement the new strategy to make it easier for you. However, one of our students, Mark Karuska, has on his own dime doing this for all of us because he was doing it for himself, and this is what he has done. So I'm going to have Mark walk us through this particular spreadsheet and what he has done. But before I show it to him, give him the screen to do it, what I would like to do is tell you emphasize what Garland was saying. Is the first tab is the bid tab, and the J column is the list, K column is your offer. What you do over here is, if this is the property that you want, then place your bid. It's 47, and you want to bid, 25,000, and you can put 25,000 in here, and that's it. And then, and you highlight. What helps is if you take that and you highlight that particular row, so that I know that, hey, I don't have to go look through. That's it. And that's one. If you want multiple, you just go write the number over here and highlight that row. So that's how we know. Once, like for example, this, you just send the Excel back to Garland with the CC2 support, and now he will take this number of 25 and immediately put it into the actual agreement, and with your name, company name, however you want it, and send you the agreement back to you with an executed copy. And then once both of you execute, the next day by 10 a.m. or noon, I believe, the wire is due. And that's what we're referring to. So do not place your bid, and like most people do, if you're in Florida, you click on Florida and you place your bid on, because that column is here as well for the list price, and you don't do it on this, that highlight this page or anything else. You place your bid on the master bid, your amount, and then the estimated value over here, and then the state by state, because no matter what I say, people tend to start with where they're living. So, but there is a philosophy, remember, that live where you want to live, invest where it makes sense. So if you're living in Tennessee, but there's a better property deal in Ohio, then buy the Ohio property, and there are procedures in place, systems in place to help you figure out how to have boots on the ground. We'll help you with that. But most people start in their states, and the particular state, if you go to Florida, then all the properties that are listed, I've also further categorized it by the city in that particular city, particular state. So you'll see that it's listed by Apopka, Auburndale, and Boynton Beach, based on the city. So most people look at, okay, if I'm in Florida, I want to look at how many properties are there for my city. So I'm in Tampa. Okay, so now it's easier to find for you. That's one of the reasons we did this additional extra step work. So with that being said, and from the master bid and to all these lists, and what Mark has done in this particular, what are the different columns that have been added, and there are a few more that we're looking to add. So I'm going to let Mark tell us about that. So I'm going to make Mark the presenter right now. There you go. Mark, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So can you just speak a little louder, please? Or get close to, your microphone.
Is that better?
Yes. And what was I going to say? Before you say, Kent? Sorry. Kent, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Would you address the point that why we shouldn't go to Hubzu, for example, on looking at these properties?
Sure. Well, Hubzu is owned by Altisource and as well as Aquin. They're just marketing arms that Altisource or Altisource mainly does the servicing of the physical property, markets through their own asset vehicles, and one of those being the auction site, Hubzu. Every time you have an interest in a property and you go to the Hubzu site, you're going to basically, when you click on that address and go into that file, you're basically alerting the servicer that there's interest in that property. Now, the curiosity for many is, okay, is there a contract on it yet? Or is there an agent assigned to that property on that site? Or is there is a bid going on? Is someone bidding on that property right now? And while those are good things to be curious about, I myself am curious. Often it's misleading. For example, there could be a contract pending through Hubzu, but it's still on our site, and our bids are going to be taken into account at the end of the day. They hold the right to sell it via the list to us or via their Hubzu site or any other means that they have for marketing. But typically, they would much rather sell to you and I as an investor than do a full closing, which costs them more and gives them liability that they simply don't pass on to us when we buy quitclaim. So don't get caught in the trap of trying to watch that property, because it's very misleading. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense in most cases. And if you actually called an agent or clicked on an agent, you're going to be talking to someone who's not very likely going to want to show you the property. And they're basically doing a service, providing their license, providing the listing, but not able to sell the property. By the way, if you end up winning the bid through us, you're often encouraged, I encourage you to call that local realtor, because often that realtor will have an interest but couldn't get anywhere with it. So that happens to us a lot. But the minute you click on that property on Hubzu, you're basically competing with yourself. You're giving them the idea that there's more interest in it than you want them to think. Number two, if you actually bid, obviously you're bidding. You can't even submit a bid or an offer to the realtor, as Roger stated earlier, unless you start at the beginning bid number. And if you actually bid that beginning number, there would have to be at least 2 other bidders before they can even accept a contract according to their own rules. So there's no real reason to go into Hubzu. They list, Hubzu automatically automates that Zillow, Trulia, Realty.com, all the other companies will probably have that listing, will show it. Again, there you can get your value, there you can get your idea of what the property's like or what it's worth. Just try to stay off the actual Hubzu site specifically. Now, there's one other way you can cheat and know what's going on with a property in the list on Hubzu. You could type on Hubzu's site, you could type in the city or a zip code and pull up those properties, and it'll let you know, it'll show you the property and what's going on with that property without alerting Hubzu or alerting the lender that there's interest on that property. If you're that curious. But there really is no real aim or gain in going to the actual property on the Hubzu site.
All right, and thank you, Ken. So please know that a couple of important points here is that if you get the list and you still go to Hubzu and you see that the contract is pending, that does not mean that they have accepted the contract. That's why they probably didn't want it. That's why they still sent the property to us. And the point I'm emphasizing that what Ken mentioned is that if 100 of us went and clicked on that same property, then we are making it impossible for all of us, because you are going there to be curious, see what price they listed it at, and that's their starting bid price. But now the lender think that there's 100 people are interested in their property, so they're no longer going to sell it to us. But it's our people. We are the ones who did it, and so don't go there. And for you to see, that's why I'm doing some extra work right now to make it easy for you. As you saw on the master tab, on the bid, now we're going to focus on that. What am I doing to make it easy for you to place the bid and make faster decisions on whether you want these properties or not? So Mark is a savvy investor and also very good with computers, and he's been doing with his programmers with some other projects, and he just took it upon himself to do it for himself. Because when we get these lists, obviously you saw on the master bid what you're looking at right now, there is nothing about the property, there's nothing about the values, so we don't know. There are thousands of properties. We don't know if we're even interested in it. I want to make sure that I give you enough data that by looking at the list right now, you know what? I'm interested in this one. Then you do your own due diligence right from here so that you don't waste time going to 10 different websites and looking for these properties, whether they're a good deal or not. Okay. Or I'm going to mute Kent and Carl because I can hear the background. So Mark, take it away from here and tell us what you've done with the master bid and all the other tabs.
Okay, everybody can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, great. Happy New Year to everybody, and I appreciate you, Roger, for the invite and the opportunity to help in your process. As Roger mentioned, I was working on some data for other programs that I'm working on with lists, and I thought it would be a nice component to add to this process to not only help me, but help others along the way. So I decided to start some testing on this list and bringing extra information so that we could sort on it really quick and determine, is this something I want to move into and do further due diligence on? And that leads me to the statement that the items that I have included in this list, and Roger is submitting this to everyone distribution-wise, is mainly a starting date. It's just an estimate to start with, and then start your due diligence to determine if the properties are something you want to look for and do some further investigating on the property to bid on. The master bid everybody's aware of. The estimated value tab is what I have displayed now, is something that I took and asked a programmer to include from a site called TotalViewRealEstate.com, and grab the address information and bring to us information that would be helpful to determine, is this something I want to look for further. The list price from the bid sheet is in this column here, is where everybody would decide, is this a number that I'm starting with, and then how do I know what the estimated value would be for that property? You'd have to start looking them up manually one by one. If there's only a couple to do, probably not a tough task, but if you're in a state like Alabama that I'm showing right now, you're going to have several properties to look up, but the added value component is it's already going to be there for you, and then all you would have to do is say, what further analysis do I need to do for this property? So we have a couple of columns that I've included. I'll start with the total view data. and then we'll come back to the actual calculations that I put in the middle of the worksheet. This column here is just giving you a range that's coming off their site, which is the Zillow estimated range. Zillow is saying the range is anywhere from 46 to 63 on that particular property. In this case here, the appraisal value that they have on the site is not published, so it does not have a value there, so it's blank. Any blank field means it wasn't published to the website. The category being single family, everybody understands that. The last sale date and sale amount information is here. The last sale square footage, which would be this property that's sold, on that given date for that amount, that was the square footage amount at that particular point in time. If we want to go back to the site, the link is there. You just copy this link right here. You can do a edit copy or a Control-C to copy it and then paste it in your browser, and we can go right to the actual website with that property information. And I guess we could do that real quick. Roger, do we have time to do that?
Yeah, go ahead, do it so that they see a full.
So we'll just put that into the browser and hit enter.
And so when they saw TV, that's total view on all the columns.
And that's where we got the information that's on the spreadsheet. So it'll bring up the exact property that we were just looking at, that I just copied from, and it will show us the information here. Now, for this month, there were some quick deadlines that weren't met to get the additional information, like the bedroom, bath, and the year assessed, and square footage. But the link is there for you to go back, like I just did now, that you could see. And we also have, in addition to the bedroom, bath, and the year built, is you can go scroll down a little bit. On some of them, you'll get more comps. There's a comparable sales data piece right here that I'm hovering over right here. In this case, it's just a gauge. It's just a starting point. There's other tools to, with realtors doing comps you could use, or you could take a couple of snapshots here based on square footage and see where you stand with, if it's a retail buy or purchase, and the number of bedrooms and bath. But this is the website. What's additionally going to be there, and I'm working on it today, is the additional links like this. This launches the actual map to the property. We also will have this truly a heat map, which gives you some average numbers for the area, and then it basically is a map with listing information below, and they call it a heat map. So this site does have some good tools in it, and for the zip codes that are here, it gives you basically what the average listing price has been in those areas. So I thought that would be helpful. Going back to the website, everything else that's on here is pretty much additional information that's really not needed for the spreadsheet. So I'm only taking what's critical for an investor to look at: bedroom, bath, square footage, year built, and the estimated numbers in terms of estimates. Now, this site also provides their own estimated value besides what eAppraisal and Zillow does. If you could see them right here under estimates, there's a box right here called estimates. That's where we're getting the information from, as well as what we're going to have down here for the futures spreadsheet. So taking that into account, if we go back to the actual spreadsheet that we were on, there's your link, and we also have the complete address instead of it parsed out that we had on the bid sheet. You actually have the full address there in case you want to copy the address and go onto Google and look at some other sites like Trulia and so on. That gives you that capability as well. So when we look at this information, we see that I'm going to scroll down a little bit more and see if there's another value. Here's another value. So eAppraisal showed a value on this particular property of 49 to 66. Zillow said the value range was 49 to 75, and the actual total view site said that their estimated value was 48. And these are only estimates.
Can you freeze, Mark, can you freeze the top row so I know which column you're on?
Yeah, column M.
No. I'm saying, can you freeze the top row so I know what the...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The header. Yeah, just freeze it so I... No, the first top row, yeah. So go back now.
All right, so let's go back to that particular one.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, yeah.
All right, so we'll highlight this one right here so you can see it better. Okay. So in that particular row, you could see that that was just an estimate that they came up with of 48,089, and the other ranges were between 49 and 75 and 49 and 66. So it gives you a gauge as far as, you know, where do I stand with the values. But you still would have to do your due diligence on getting the comps for ARV numbers. It's just a starting point. So what I did is I said, well, if we're bidding 50% off the list as a starting number, why don't we have the formula in there right away so it's not something that I have to figure out or I have to come up with and start scratching on a calculator. I decided to include the actual formula here so that we could see visually where are we. So I took 50% of
the starting bid price, the list price.
The listing amount, which was the bid amount, that was the starting point, and also added in the $2,000 and the $200 worth of wiring fees so that it would already be calculated in there. And 50% was just a number I came up with as far as, you know, what we possibly would do. We would still have to see what the repairs would be and see if maybe we may have to go a little stiffer on you know, taking more off the actual listing amount. So it could increase to 60% off list or 70% off list. Then I calculated what the gross profit might be, not including repairs and other costs like holding costs and costs to borrow and so on. So I said, okay, this looks like a column that we could add this in here and say, what is the gross profit potential here without the repair numbers and without the other costs involved? And we could actually sort on that to see what our greater profit might be on a particular property. Now, there are some other formulas that I'm still looking at. Roger will approve those, and if they're added to the spreadsheet, he's going to take this to a higher level than what we see now. But for now, I thought this was an added benefit, not only to me, but I thought to everyone to quickly scroll up and down and look at the values quickly, and then do the homework right from those numbers, because it would give you the ability to filter down quickly.
Yeah, Mark, I want to make a couple of points while I'm still remembering. Guys, look at what he's doing right now. This is what I am an investor just like you. I buy houses, and I want to have information at the tip of my, you know, to make quick decisions. So I can look at it, what Mark was saying, that, hey, look at it, that although the starting bid list price was $16,000, and with all the fees added, it's at $10,000. So it's got a $48,000, almost $50,000 gross profit margin. And you have to look at it and say, now, do not make your decision based on this. This is just, okay, I'll be interested in this. Then you go do your own due diligence. If you have a realtor you're working with, you want to have them run comps for you and values for you. You have RealQuest, you want to double check on RealQuest, then of course nothing will beat, if you have boots on the ground, to go look at the physical property and then do the repair estimates and do all of those things and then make your decisions. And when you're placing your bid on the column J, on the master bid, please do not just put the 10,680 and half of that, because the $2,000 buyer's premium mark added here just so that you have that information on your decision making. The $2,000 is not needed. It's only needed if you've won the bid. If you won the bid, and that's when the $2,000 comes in, and that's paid to me directly at the very end, not part of this process. So do not add this $2,000 or half of this into the bidding process. It is just for your calculation to know that. Otherwise, if you didn't calculate, you could be misled that if you took 50%, it would be, instead of 10,000, it would show you $8,000 and change. So, oh yeah, $8,000. No, there's $2,000. So he added that because he's a savvy investor. He took into, not only that, he said, you know what, $100 to wire and $100 to, and again, second time to wire. So he said, that's $200. That's almost my closing cost. So there's a small admin fee beyond that. But that's it. So to make you give you decision point on this particular one. And
well, that's an actual good point, Roger, because I wasn't even thinking about it from that angle, but maybe the 2,000 should have been separated out in a different column so that
yes,
it is
because
not.
That's why I was thinking. Otherwise, they're going to just make the mistake of adding this. Now I'll have to take that out. It'll show their bid is higher than they intended. Then I'm going to say, no, your 2,000 is on top of that. You won the bid. That's my first point. Maybe separate it out. Second is, what was I going to say? A very important point. Second one is, the second one is this, that look at it. You're thinking, wow, I can get it at 50%, I'm going to get it at 10,680. But when the profit margin is 48,000, that's your potential gross profit. Don't be greedy here. Go do your due diligence. And here is the thing that you need to do, the smart investors do. And the smart investor will go and find out right now. Remember, those of you who've heard me speak, the philosophy is buyers first. As I told you that we sell to wholesalers, they sell to wholesalers, and then they sell to retailers. And so you go now find out a buyer and ask him how much they're willing to pay for this property. If they say that, you know what, I'm gonna pay you $30,000 for this property, don't sit here and think that because they know that it's worth whatever they're buy and hold. I'm just giving you a number, and you go, wow, $30,000, and at 50%, I'm going to make almost $20-some thousand on this property. I'm just telling you, people have done thousands of wholesale deals. The average wholesale deal is about $5,000. So don't get greedy. If you want to get this deal, it doesn't matter. You might as well go up on your bid to $15,000 so that you get this property and you make $15,000 instead of $20,000. You make $10,000 instead of, or you may want to ask for the full bid price. I say, I want to pay $16,900. End of story. Because I got a buyer for $30,000. Or if you have a buyer at $20,000, you go, you know what, I'm going to go up to $12,000 so that with the bid fee and everything, I still make $5,000. So don't be greedy. Go find a buyer. Or if you're a buy and hold guy, then you go, you know what, I want to hold this for long term. I'm not going to sell it. I'm just going to rehab it and hold it as a rental. Man, I'm going to get the amount of cash flow I'm going to get, even if I put $5,000 in the repair plus this buying it for say $15,000 plus even if I put $10,000, I'm at $25,000. This property is worth, according to $58,000. I really want this property. I want to bid up to $30,000 on a $60,000 property. I'm still with my repairs, everything, I want to be at $30,000, and then work backwards. How much do you need to bid to get this property? And you'll get it. There's no magic formula, but the magic formula is this. Having said that, you also are the determinant. No matter if I say that the winning bid is 60%, but you did your calculation and your valuation and your repair estimate, the max that this property deserves is now 48%, then stick to your guns. Make the offer at 48%. Do not go even 49%, because let the idiots who want to pay more for a property that's not worth it, and it'll come back to us again when they lose it. And so you just like when you go to an auction, but this is in an auction you get a chance to go higher and higher in a live auction. Here there is no going back and forth. So you know your threshold. What is the most you're willing to go on this property? And then put that number in here. And then if you get it, fine. If you don't get it, that's fine. So we'll separate it. We don't want to confuse you with this. And these are just simple tools to be able to make your decisions quickly that am I interested in this property to do my own due diligence. Like Mark said, you could even sort based on the column M, and then you pick up the highest profit margin properties and do your due diligence. And those properties could be in any state USA. And this is what I mean by live where you want to live, invest where it makes sense. And so you said in your backyard, properties are made in this calculation, if you could make only $10,000, and then properties in Arizona, you can make $50,000, you should go to Arizona. And then if you don't know how to go to Arizona, that's a separate conversation, how to set up systems and processes that you can buy in Arizona. And if you live in Ohio, it makes no difference. So that being said, those are the additional points that I wanted to mention so that you have a full picture of this bidding process and how you're going to get it done. And the little bit of sore point for us is that, hey, even if you don't win the bid, there's going to be some cost associated this time, and I'm trying to eliminate that the next go around, and once I'm successful, I'll let you know what it is. But know that Garland, Kent, and I are working feverishly, and you can ask them that we have with a strong voice oppose that. But there is a cost of doing business. If you were on this side, you would have understand that the thousands of wires that they get, the amount of time that they have to spend, and the financial liability of doing it, accepting this escrow and then sending it back, there's some cost, and I'm working on it to eliminate it. But this time I couldn't, so take that into consideration when you bid, and you have that cost of doing business. Best way to think about this is your marketing cost. Think about it, what I'm presenting to you. So those of you complain that how much marketing dollars do you have to spend in order for leads to come in? And every leads that come in, do you end up buying those properties? The answer is no. So you spend $1,000 on marketing and you get 10 leads, that's $100 a lead. And of course, of the 10 leads, you may be buying 2 properties. And then those 2 properties that you buy, now you say it's $500 was per my cost of acquisition for those properties each. So this is the best way to look at it from that perspective, because you have 0 marketing dollars in this. So please, when you complain, think first that how much value that I'm adding, that you don't have to do any marketing, and I'm bringing to you in front in a silver platter to do these properties. And if you're not willing to take that cost of doing business into consideration, then please do not bid on this one. There will be other opportunities for us to do business where you don't have that expense, and we'll make that available to you. For this one, that's it for now. Any final word? I also want to introduce Ken one more time. This is not Kent Davis. This is Ken Williams. And Ken works with me, and his primary responsibility is to help you in this process. So if you have any questions and you don't know exactly, you're sure you need a little bit of hand-holding, that's what his purpose is to support the students. He's incredibly knowledgeable. He's an investor. He has bought and sold and rehabbed hundreds and hundreds of properties in the lower income areas, probably the worst part in Detroit. So those of you who met him, you know that he's an awesome guy, and he goes way out of his way to help people in holding their hands. So Ken, are you on?
Yes, I'm here, Roger.
Would you, just for a record, give them your contact information so that if they want to contact you directly, and if you want to add any word to them of encouragement and to contact you, please add now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me on here. And again, my name is Ken Williams. My cell phone number is 941-623-3266. Again, that number is 941 623-3266. Texting works okay. Email address is ken@thewinnerscircleinc.com. Again, that's ken@thewinnerscircleinc.com. And I'd like to thank Mark for also going through everything that he's done, putting this together, and including the heat maps. And for those of you who haven't experienced or who have no experience with heat maps, you can feel free to give me a call later. I've used them in other markets. I don't just invest in Florida.
Wonderful.
That'll help you to know where to go and where to stay away from.
Yeah, so that he's there for you to call him, and he'll guide you and help you in the process of how to place the bids. If you have any questions, you didn't understand some of the things that we shared with you, we'll do that. And final chance to Garland, I'm going to go to you. Do you want to add anything else?
I don't have anything to add at this time.
Wonderful. Kent? Kent Davis? Did I lose you? Let me see. Looks like staff. Oh, it's my fault. I had you on muted. Kent, are you there? Kent? Kent?
Can you hear me? Yeah,
Yes,
you had me muted.
Yes, I had you. I had you muted, so I unmuted you. Okay,
No,
do you have anything? Final words?
No, I would just commend Mark and all your team on this. It's pretty incredible, the opportunity that's being handed to the students here. I wish I had this tool myself. Up till now, I haven't. So there's great opportunity here, and I would just echo your statement. Don't be greedy. We visited a property on the list yesterday. Called the agent. Agent said, I'm the listing agent, but I can't talk to the asset manager. If you win it, will you please call me, because I've got people who want to buy this. And I said, well, what are you being offered? And he said, well, he gave me a number. I don't want to compete with the students, so but I don't want the students competing with me either, so I'm not going to tell you the property, but but basically it was about twice what I was going to offer. So these properties are for the taking, and great value and great opportunity. Just do your due diligence, get your bids in, and let's get some awarded properties this month.
All right. And Mark, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just one final thought here. I purposely left out column K. It's been replaced with the total view number. I left out the column K in these additional tabs, including the state tabs, primarily so that no one would enter the offer into those tabs, that they would have to go back to the master tab to make
Great.
sure.
Thank you.
I purposely did that in case somebody said, well, why is K changed? And
Yes.
that was the reason, so that no one would enter a bid there.
Thank you. And I have one. Go ahead. Anything else?
I appreciate it again, Roger. I will have an updated information for you later today.
Wonderful. And as I said, next month is going to be even better. So we're continually, the principle of CANI, constant and never-ending improvement, we're doing that. And those of you here on the call and listening to the call later on, one of the things that I want to point out, that this is why Kent, Garland, and I, if we were greedy, we would take this property in terms of what we do, because all the bids go through us. So you cannot submit the bid to the bank. So let's say that Mark here was bidding for this property at 50%, where he puts $10,680. In this case, his actual bid amount would be the half of that $16,960 minus the $2,000. Yeah, so his bid would be $8,480 is the actual bid. And you could, Mark, you probably add a column called buyer's premium plus fees, and then total, so they would know what the potential bid is, so that it's separated out. So number two, if I wanted to get this property, I know, let's say that 10 people were bidding on this property, 10 of my students, and the highest bid was $8,480. Kent, Garland, and I, we said, you know what, man, this property now has a gross 50%, $50,000 profit. We want this. We could go put $9,000 on that and win the bid. We can easily steal this property from underneath you. What we do not do is, if a student were to bid on a property, we bid to lose. In that case, because we have to bid, we will put an $8,000 bid on that property. And so that we cannot be the highest bidder on this, so you'll be the highest bidder. And that's the trust that you have placed in us, because I want to create winners here. I want you to win, because there's plenty, there are thousands and thousands of properties, and we know that even after everyone takes all of them, there's still leftovers that we will have to buy ourselves. So we focus. So after everybody has taken the cream of the crop and left the crap for us, we take the crap. And that's what we're doing in this particular scenario, that when my students bid, we bid to lose. We do not bid, we do not compete with you. So that being said, and look at it, Mark is already busy enhancing the list. So the next time you get, or maybe I'll even send out an enhanced, if it's done today, because you still have the weekend to do your evaluation. And one last time, Kent, the due date for this time, would you repeat, or Garland, what the due date is for the bidding and the wire money for this time?
Yes.
Go ahead. Garland? Kent?
We might have lost him. The due date is Monday, and I believe it's 2 o'clock.
And that's for the bid.
Right, and the only way we can turn in the bid is that wires are accomplished. So if you have your bids in, please get them to us today, over the weekend, because Monday, if everybody waits to the last minute on Monday to get the bids to us, we got to do the contract, get the agreement signed, and still have time to get the wire out. So please act as quick as you can and help us so that we don't get bottlenecked.
Good. This particular time, normally they give us a little bit more time. This time, because the holidays, the list was late, and the weekend, everything else, and they didn't give us the full time. So that's why we're working hard. We put this call for you to give you additional info. So if you know the property you want, you know the numbers, please don't wait till Monday. Send us this particular Excel, and with the column J on the master bid tab, and put your numbers. If you can bid on 10 properties, then put all 10 in there and send it to Garland. And then Garland will prepare the actual agreement, send it back to you, then you sign, and then we have a both signed agreement, then you wire the funds. And the deadline for wiring is on Tuesday. And so, but if you can wire today, fine, get it done and over with. Don't wait till the last minute. So, first of all, again, thank you everyone who's been on the call. Garland, Kent, Mark, and Ken Williams. Appreciate all of your time. Let's go out and start the new year with a bang. Let's buy some properties and make some money. Start this awesome 2015 and make it our best year ever. All the best, guys. God bless and good luck.
Thank you.